guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shams Fatima from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering, Bangalore. So today my topic is Raspberry Pi from the subject Internet of Things. Now let's look into the highlights of Raspberry Pi. What is Raspberry Pi? How did the Raspberry Pi get its name? Its history? When was it launched? Component of the Raspberry Pi? How did it work? Project developed with the help of the Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi in Internet of Things. Advantage and its disadvantages. So now let's have a look what is Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi is a credit card size computer originally designed for the education. It is motherboard containing different slots like USB port, audio jack, memory slots and the Ethernet port, etc. It is slower than a modern laptop or the desktop, but it is a complete Linux computer and can provide all the expected abilities that implies at a lower power consumption level. So the price of the Raspberry Pi is in between 55 to $35, 350 rupees to 2500 rupees. How did the Raspberry Pi get its name? Fruit name plus Python. A lot of computer companies were named after a fruit. There is a Tangerine computer system, Apricot computers, and also the old British company Acorn, which is a family of a fruit. Pi is because originally we were going to produce a computer that could only really run Python. So the Pi in there is for Python. So now let's look into the history of the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry was created in the February 2012. So the first generation of the Raspberry Pi was the Model B was launched, developed in the United Kingdom (UK) by the Raspberry Pi Foundation. The features of the Raspberry Pi Model B: memory with 512 MB RAM, connection to USB ports, 100 MB Ethernet port, 3.5 mm jack for the audio out, HDMI, processor Broadcom BCM 2835. So let's have a look about its launch process. In February 2012, Raspberry 1 Model B Basic. In April 2014, Raspberry 1 Model B. It's a credit card size. Improved A plus and B plus models were released in the year later. In Feb 2015, Raspberry Pi 2 was released. In the November 2015, Raspberry Zero was released, and February 2016, Raspberry Pi 3 Model B was released with the Wi-Fi and the USB boot capabilities. And Feb 28, 2017, the Raspberry Zero was initiated with the Wi-Fi as well as the Bluetooth. So here you can have a look at the models of the Raspberry. So here is the Model B followed by A, compute modules, Model B plus, Model A plus, 2 Model B, 0 and 3 Model B. So now let's have a look at the components of the Raspberry Pi. So it has the USB port, audio jack 3.5 mm, HDMI high definition multimedia interface, power supply, SD card slots, Ethernet, LED, light emitting diode, Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth, SCI that is camera serial interface connector for the camera, etc. So now let's have a look about its working part. An HDMI television or the monitor. You need to connect the Raspberry Pi to a display, which means you need to have the HDMI enabled screen which supports the TV and connected, a USB keyboard and the mouse. In order to control your Raspberry Pi, you will need to have a keyboard and the mouse. At this point, pretty much any USB keyboard and the mouse will work. an 8 GB micro SD card or the card reader. 8 GB card for the Samsung EVO plus class 10 cards like this will be one of the best one to its processing. If your computer does not have a card reader, then you need to have a hard drive. A power supply. Raspberry Pi is powered by a micro USB, much one with will likely connect your phone, as well as the Pi 3 has the USB port. So here is a diagram which will help us to know about the Raspberry Pi. So here we can have a look at the Raspberry Pi, Raspberry Pi 2, Raspberry Pi 3. It was released in the month of 2012, in the month of Feb 2015, Raspberry 2, Feb 2016, Raspberry 3. CPU is ARM 1176. For Pi2, ARM Cortex A7, ARM Cortex A53 is for Raspberry 3. So now let's have a look at the CPU speed. 700 MHz and 900 MHz for the Raspberry Pi 2 and 1200 MHz quad core for Raspberry 3. So RAM is 512 for Raspberry, 1 GB for Pi2, 1 GB and Pi3. So now for GPU, Broadcom Video Core 4, same followed by for Raspberry Pi 2, Raspberry Pi 3. Now the storage is the micro SDHC model A plus and B plus. Micro SDHC slot and for both Raspberry Pi 2 and Raspberry Pi 3. So USB ports are 2 on model B, 4 and 4, and the Wi-Fi not built-in Wi-Fi for Raspberry 1 and Raspberry 2, but Wi-Fi with Bluetooth is being present in Raspberry Pi 3. So here is HDC stands for Secure Digital High Capacity. So here is the simple desktop, the project developed with the help of Raspberry Pi. Some of them are listed here. So here is the simple desktop. So the second one is Raspberry Pi Smart Mirror, a mirror which displays the application, other useful information. The third one is the gaming devices, which helps us to play a smart game. Fourth one is a robot. And fifth one is the CCTV cameras, that is USB webcam. So now let's have a look at the Raspberry Pi in IoT. Using Raspberry Pi, we can create a various sensors of IoT. That is IoT doorbell, review on the temperature and humidity sensing using IoT, home automation using the Internet of Things, waterproof sensors, etc. Now let's have a look at the advantages and the disadvantages part of the Raspberry Pi. Advantages: small in size, cheap and low in cost, low cost server and the hosting, ability to handle web traffic, open sources, can be used as a supercomputer. Disability of Raspberry Pi: it cannot run x86 operating system, low processor. I hope you guys got some information from my video. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching my video. See you in the next video. Bye guys.